Hey guys, Furum here, and today I will be testing the Bailey Blade GT1 in multiplayer in Asphalt 9 at Golden Max in its new multiplayer season. This is the first multiplayer video that I am making after the American season update with the UI changes. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and enjoy the video. And be sure to check out my video, or two actually, about the update if you have not seen those yet. In my previous one in particular, I do test this car on New York in multiplayer, and show that to you a bit. At one point I considered making a video showing all of the New York tracks, but there already have been many people who have made best route videos of many of the variants, so I'm not sure how useful that would actually be. A lot of people have asked me about my thoughts on New York, and I would say that overall I do like it. I very much like the long straight section that we got there, which is something that we haven't really seen on any other track in this game, really. Unlike Tokyo, for example, like we had in Asphalt 8 had some of those. But it's not all straight. We do have 90-degree turns and some twisty parts. It looked like they tried to put every kind of possible track arrangement into there. I like it overall. Here I go off to the side, somehow don't wreck on anything, and he gets messed up a little bit too, and then I look like I come in second, but somehow I actually get first there. And I honestly have no idea how. And here you can see the new multiplayer UI. On the main screen, it shows you who won up top, and at the bottom, it shows what place you got, as well as the rating that you went up and your rating. Now, apparently in Rush Season, it won't actually tell you what rating you go up or are at the end of races until you are in Legend or just Platinum League. And they say that's to give just a more fun experience at lower levels because it's more competitive at higher levels. I personally don't like that because I'm a big numbers guy and I like seeing that kind of thing, but I don't think it'll make too much of a difference, honestly. You can still check your rating at any time if you go to the leaderboard. Now, in this video are 8 of the better races I had toward the end of this season. It was a ghost season, which I very much enjoyed. Slipstream ghost seasons are really fun, except for the fact, and that was an accidental 360 by the way, except for the fact that a lot of times, if you're in front, you're really not going to be in front at the end of the race, because with the ghosting and Slipstream, people are just going to stay in Nitro right behind you and go right through you, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I did find that to be a problem sometimes, but overall, this season I did find to be very fun. And the car, although it was a little bit of a letdown, it wasn't as good as I had thought, was still a fun one to drive. Here, I thought I'd come in first, but the opposite thing happened, and I actually came in second. I did cross the finish line at the same time, though, which is the same thing that happened in the first race. And now for the race where I try to reach Master League. So how do I feel about this car? As you guys know, probably from some of my update videos, I'd expected that this car was going to be like a Tri-Nemesis and be just like it pretty much, except for better nitro efficiency. However, that's not exactly what we got. Its drifting is not nearly as good as that of the Tri-Nemesis. While it's slightly better than that of the Regera, it's not as good as the Trions, and although its top speed is more or less the same, its nitro at 70 doesn't really feel like 70 nitro. A lot of people have said that it quite possibly has a fake sort of nitro stat, and I can definitely see that. It doesn't feel like 70 at all, but its acceleration is okay. Overall, it's not going to be the second best car in the game like I thought it was going to be. I honestly doubt it will be better than the Sheeran, but we'll have to see. It's still definitely going to be one of the top ones. And here we do come in first, flying past all those people at the last second to go up 16 rating and reach Master League. Now, I also have gotten the opportunity to test drive the other new cars in the update at max, except for the Twatra. I have no idea if or when I'll be able to do that one, but the other ones. So the Corvette C7R is pretty much just like I expected. It drives almost exactly like the Mazda Furai at max, and it does have better nitro efficiency, and here I fall off the side. You might not want to go as high on that jump as I did back there, or else that might happen, but we do get a good comeback race out of it. So the C7R is basically like the Furai, but with better nitro efficiency, and even not all that much better at that. It still has the pretty not so great drifting of that car. So nothing really too special potential there, going to be a high-end D-Class car, but I can't see it being used a whole lot. It goes 199 miles per hour at max, by the way. The Corvette Stingray in Class C goes 212 miles per hour at max and drives nicely, but there isn't particularly anything remarkable about it. It is the season pass car, and it is not any king that I know of. It's just not really fast enough to be, I don't think. But the 4GT Mark II is a bit of a weird one. So that goes around 205 to 207-ish miles per hour at max, which is not nearly as fast as the other 4GT in the game. However, its acceleration is rocket-like. Its nitro efficiency is really good, and its top speed isn't great. However, its agility is really good too. I mean, it's basically just like the opposite of the other B-Class 4GT. And in that race, we redeemed our previous US Midwest race and came in first. Now, the other thing, emojis. I have seen like a grand total of 2 people use these in multiplayer since I began this season, and I've played it for several hours. And somehow I think I turned mine off. I'm not even sure exactly how I did that. I've accidentally sent some myself, but as soon as I saw that they were going to be added, I just knew not many people are going to be using these. They do not add anything to the race. People are going to be concentrating on racing well, not sending smiley faces during the race. Like, I really don't see how they have any use at all. I think a lot of people who try to use them would just find that it causes them to lose concentration on the race and they wouldn't lose them again. And to add to that, some emojis are actually locked behind the Legend Pass. Yes, you heard that right. You can pay to get things that are just going to probably hinder you in the race and not be useful, and you won't use them anyway. I don't see the point of these. Among everything that people have been asking for addition to Asphalt 9, emojis was not one of them. I don't think I ever saw somebody asking for those. And here we do come in first. Again, a pretty close battle. Now, this next race is sort of a rematch between me and the person that I faced in the first race, one of the ones where I finished at the same time. Now, y'all will be pleased to know that I did manage to win the SC18, and there's a story behind that as well. It's not as crazy as the one with the Esco, but it is still pretty interesting. So I got tier 2 in the event, and I ended up at number 5, which is the final position you can get to have a guaranteed key for that car in tier 2. Now that means I didn't get the declaw or anything, but I don't really care about that. I just wanted the car. What happened was that I had forgotten to play final round 5. I just went to bed without remembering to play it, and I woke up the next morning and I had 0 points there. Now my car was only 2 stars, and I wanted to try to win it at 2 stars, and I was afraid that because of that, I wouldn't be able to, or I would just get packs. But thankfully, no, I was able to come in 5th with 150 points, and then the person directly below me had 145. And that was a nice weird barrel right there. This car likes to do some strange things on ramps. Not quite as bad as the Veneno, but it also doesn't like to wall ride. Yeah, it can be a little bit of a glitchy one to drive. But yeah, somehow in tier 2, I managed to win a Grand Prix car at 2 stars, having forgotten to play one race. I bet that doesn't happen too often, or I'm definitely not going to try to do that again. In these last couple of races, we are facing BRE Anthony C, who I actually found a lot, especially in my Master League playing of this season, and this one is a dual race against him. Now, with Slipstream, there are a few things that you can do. If you're in front, you can drift at the beginning so that other people cannot get shockwave off of you, and so you can get shockwave yourself. But a lot of times, especially in this season, what I've seen is that kind of slows you down more than otherwise, and you're almost better off just waiting for people to pass you, and then you can slipstream them and then get shockwave that way, and not have to drift at the very beginning of the race. I don't know, that's mostly what I did at the beginning of the races in this season. Now, if I was in the back, I just kind of got behind some people. Hopefully somebody who wasn't drifting. Yeah, you don't want to get behind one of those at the beginning of slipstream races. But overall, I would say I enjoyed this season. It was fun to play on New York. It was fun to play this new car, even though it's not quite as good as I thought, and it's a little bit glitchy, and I enjoy having Slipstream multiplayer seasons every once in a while. I know some people don't, but I do. Here, we're coming up to this guy at the end of the race. I somehow managed to get first here. I have no idea how, because it looked like he was slightly ahead of me. If he had Slipstreamed me, he would probably have come in first instead. And now for our final race, which is on Osaka. And now it is time for my general review about the Bailey Blade GT1. Its top speed is its biggest strength at 209 94 miles per hour at Golden Max. Its nitro is decent, although not as good as the stats suggest. Its acceleration is also fine. Its handling, though, is probably, I'd say, its weakest point. Its drifting is not particularly amazing. Now, it's not terrible either, don't get me wrong. It's just not as great as I would have liked for a new high-end S-Class car. If you look in the Stars and Stripes career season, you can see that this car and the Stingray do not require keys in order to get. That makes me believe the Bailey will likely be a standard special event car. And, well, we know the Stingray is through Legend Pass, but the other three cars in the update, the Corvette C7R, the Trois, and the Ford GT Mark II, all are key cars, so likely the SSC will be a Drive Syndicate, and the other two will probably be Grand Prix, because they do seem kind of like race cars. By the way, at one point I did get up to number 14 on the leaderboard in this season. In this final race, we take the victory. Thank you all for watching. Please like the video if you have enjoyed, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt and other games content, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!